Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie and I'm one of your instructors in this course. And today I'd like to talk about Assignment 1 for the Intro to Peace Education online course brought to you by Teachers Without Borders and National Peace Academy. So Assignment 1 is the Peace Education autobiography. And I've asked you to do this because I'd like you to self-reflect on what brought you here. And the last time we offered this course, someone asked me, well, this sounds a little bit redundant. Didn't we already do this in the discussion forum? And as you'll recall, in the introduction discussion forum, I asked you to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about where you're from and what brought you to this course, why you're interested in it, what are your goals. So isn't this the same thing as the Peace Education autobiography? And I'd like you to think that it's a little bit different. I'd like you to reflect on what brought you to this course in a deeper way. And to tell you a little bit about it, I'd like to show you how I approached it. And this is just one approach. You can really approach this assignment from various ways. So I created a little Path to Peace Education timeline. And you can see I just took some paper and markers and taped it together. And I started all the way back in 1979 and thought about different things that impacted me, where at the time they weren't necessarily, I didn't think, oh, I'm going to go into peace education, but in hindsight they make a lot of sense. Things like loving animals and really caring about animals when I was a child, hosting exchange students, being interested in environmental issues, learning about other languages and cultures, traveling, and so you can see there's a lot of different things on here. Becoming a Peace Corps volunteer was a big one. My practice and study of yoga was also a really big step on my path to peace education. And then you'll see I went to the University for Peace and then started working for Teachers Without Borders, and that's how I got where I am right now. But to me, this kind of helped me make sense of my life as a whole and all of these different steps along the way that have led me in this general direction. Kind of a long and winding road, not necessarily a straight ahead trajectory. So that was one approach. Another approach you could take is thinking about one specific event that happened that really made you interested in peace and peace education, or just even education in general. For me, if I were to talk about one specific event on that timeline, I would talk about going to the Article 9 conference to abolish war, which I attended and volunteered at in Japan in 2009, or 2008 actually, yeah. And so at this conference there were tens of thousands of people who were all dedicating their lives to peace and peace education. And I remember a specific moment when Cora Weiss, who is the head of the Hague Appeal for Peace, she was giving a speech about it's time to abolish war. And everything she said so deeply resonated with my heart. And being in that huge arena with tens of thousands of people who were spilling out, they actually had to put screens outside the arena because they didn't have enough room in this giant arena to hold all of the people who wanted to be there. It was so deeply inspiring, and at that moment I had been making lots of steps, as you could kind of see from the timeline. I had been taking lots of steps in my personal life and in my professional life towards trying to cultivate peace, but at that moment I decided I really wanted to make sure that it was every aspect of my life was involving promoting peace, and that's what led me to study peace education at the University for Peace. So you could also talk about one specific moment in your life that was really relevant to you. So that's the general idea. There are a million ways you could approach it, and there are a lot of different things you could talk about, but I'd just like you to invite you to reflect more deeply on what brought you to peace education. And in any case, I'm very glad that whatever happened brought you here. I'm really excited to be learning with you throughout this course, and I will see you in the discussion forums and hopefully at the webinar next week. Thanks everybody, and email me if you have any questions about the assignment, stephanie@twb.org. And also, with respect to submitting your assignment, you have the option of posting it to your NIXT blog, which is on your NIXT homepage, or emailing the assignment to your instructors. And that would be me, Ellen, and Elspeth, and you have their contact information as well in the email I sent you. So feel free to submit your assignment either of those ways, and the assignments are due on next Monday. So see you in the discussion forums and at the webinar. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.